Well, Nick, let's talk about transportation. How would you pay for the improvements in public transportation system, considering that a sales tax increase is not an option because Fort Worth is at the legal limit now for sales tax? Where are you going to get the money?
Well, off the top of my head, it seems we could do one of two things. We could, or two things actually, create a TIF district to support areas like, as Dan said, multimodal trains, transportation, light rail, commuter rail, those kind of things to bring in new businesses, and they in turn would give back to the community and raise the tax base. But the other thing, this comes into the question, of course, of our economics in general. We need to go in and look at the city government, look at the departments, the agencies, how they're being run. Are they effective and efficient enough? Are they spending your money correctly? Are there areas where we can consolidate? Are there areas where we can combine redundant, superfluous agencies that don't always get the jobs done as effectively and efficiently as possible so that they're working for you? I think if we started with that, we would see we could cut a few $1 million from the budget. It might not be a great start, but it would help in being able to promote those things like transportation that are needed to bring in new jobs, bring in a new tax base, and bring Fort Worth front and center again.
Well, if I remember correctly, what I like to refer to as the Chuck Silcox Freeway out there had a rail plan in it when it began. And we were so smart that we took that out. So we have debated this as a community for 25 years. We debated it the whole time I was on the council. There was always an issue at the forefront. The main issue always was, how in the world are we going to pay for it? So we've really studied it, and we've done things that we should have done, and then we reversed our position. And I always got a kick out of arguing with Chuck Silcox because he always said that the Trinity River Vision project was something that was too expensive and shouldn't work that way. And one night we were in a debate, and he had to admit that the exact same funding mechanisms to put the Trinity River Vision and the Uptown project together were the ones that he had used to build his freeway out here. And he said the only difference was we were building a lake and he was building a freeway. So what I'm saying is that if you really try, there are ways to sit down and figure out how to fund some of this stuff. But I think the legislature is going to have to step forward and give the voters an opportunity to vote on a regional transportation authority and a tax that goes with that. And that's the voters' right on that one.
Well, we already have a model for how to accomplish this kind of thing, and the Fort Worth Transportation Authority has done it. Back in the early 2000s, they studied this issue as the population was growing, and they determined that there was, in fact, a demand for choice riders, but that the most cost-effective thing would be to have commuter rail, and that they would use existing rails, because a large cost is in the capital investment in rail. And so, in fact, they did that. They entered into partnerships with the city of Grapevine, and they also are in the process of securing the final federal dollars. And hopefully in 2015, we will have the opening of a commuter rail service that will go from Sycamore School Road all the way into the airport. So I think we already have a model for how we can make smart, effective choices and do the right thing.
Well, let me say first of all that I think hope springs eternal. And when I was in the legislature, I had a discussion with Mr. Parmalee about local option. I supported it then, I support it now, and hopefully one of these days the legislature will allow us to vote on that extra half-cent. I hope that happens. But in the meantime, City of Fort Worth has 17 different urban villages already as a part of its master plan. Those urban villages are most effectively served by rail transportation, and let me tell you why that's important. The difference in the ad valorem tax revenue collected from 1 square mile of typical suburban development as compared to 1 square mile of urban village development, the difference is $200 million. And that's a figure that was presented to the Fort Worth City Council. It's not my figure, it was presented to the City Council, and that's the kind of development that we have to encourage because that will pay for a lot of transportation.
Funding transportation is always the problem. How do we fund it? We do have to look at the efficiencies in the city. We have to look at cost-cutting measures to save, to return those dollars, put them back into basic services, transportation, fixing your potholes. There's millions we can find. We have bond fund money that was voted in '06 that has still not been spent. We must get that money in action for you. We also need to partner with North Texas COG, the Council of Governments, work on joint relationships with them. We can work with the county, public-public partnerships. We can also work with private-public partnerships. We need to see exactly what the citizens want. We do have a plan for rail. It's coming in from the Crowley direction all the way across town and out on existing rails. That's an excellent public-private partnership with the railroads. I think we have to continue to search for creative solutions and solve this for you.